was a world where every man, regardless of his contribution to society, had the same as the other man. Some would say it was the perfect example of how the world should be. There would be no worries about tomorrow. Everyone had what they needed. There would be no jealousy as your neighbor had the same as you did. Humans were all equal. There should be no disparities amongst people. That was exactly what the world had come to. After all, no one wanted to live in a world where insecurity was the order of the day. Families fighting for control of dynasties, governments wrestling for more power. Such was the nature of humans, wanting more and more. Did Plato not argue that private ownership of properties and goods would encourage selfishness? Was he not right? The powerful preyed on the weak. That was how it had always been. Oppression and suppression. Tools used to subdue people, like they were slaves. People rebelled, as they had always done to past government, and after long debates on how to move on, they decided that every man should get what he deserved. Equal treatment. That was the new religion. That was what the world had become. Right now, at this very moment, even though great philosophers only theorized about living in this kind of world, they believed it was the perfect world, one without violence, where human beings had learned to subdue themselves and become rational, morally upright people. Resources would thrive because people would be using them the right way. There would be no exploitation, no discrimination. There would be no rich, no poor, just people. The schools where children learn would teach them how to live in a society like that, a sort of brainwashing. If they wanted a happy society, they had to live in harmony with their neighbors. That in itself was not a bad thing, but where was the means to protect oneself if such a system failed? There were no measures in place. For the average Tom, Dick, and Harry, it seemed like a beautiful world. They had their wife and kids, and the government shared the resources amongst everyone as equally as they could. Who knew the world could be so peaceful? Digging deeper into this perfect glass ball the world was shaping out to be, there were some cracks that no one wanted to notice. Blissful ignorance. If it wasn't seen, it wasn't real. There were the optimists, those who clung tightly to hope that everyone could live in harmony.